Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Press Talk Sports Live. I am your host, Jeff Weisinger, the sports editor here at the Brentwood Press. Joining me today, we don't do a lot of interviews like this often. This is actually going to be really fun. I haven't done a fight interview in a very long time, so this would be great. Joining us today is Brentwood local and 1-0, currently undefeated boxer, Marcus Perez. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I was telling you off mic, I haven't done a fight interview in so long, so this is actually really kind of cool because it's so different from the traditional stick and ball sport. So thank you for joining us today, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I want to ask you about the pro debut. Take me through it because to start 1-0 is definitely awesome.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. I mean, it's like a mix of emotions, right? It was a little rush, I could say, but ultimately the people I have in my corner, made it go smoother for me. A lot of emotions, mixed emotions, right? But ultimately, man, I've been doing it for quite a while, so it was kind of just getting my feet wet, right, for the pros. Just a little different game.
Right.
But it was tough. We knew going in there. He already had 3 fights already, so just ain't nothing to it but to do it. You had to jump in there head first.
What was it like? A lot of people not in the scene like that, they don't realize usually your first fight isn't against, more times than not, it's not against someone else's first fight. It might be their first 5 fights or whatever. To go up against someone who's had 2 under their belt already, 2 or 3 under their belt already, what was that like for you?
I knew the guy. I sparred him before. I knew he was tough. I think it was more so we wanted to get something, going, instead of being stagnant for a while because, it's hard to get fights, after a certain point in the amateurs. So it was kind of thrown at us and, we decided to take it and run with it.
Take me through the fight itself. I mean, I didn't get a chance to see it, so I apologize for not being there. But take me through the fight itself and, through each round and from start to end began.
Yeah, I mean, basically, a lot of adrenaline, right, for first pro fight. I will say that. After the first round, settled the nerves. Second round, started boxing more. He was a forward fighter, and I'm naturally a forward fighter, so it was kind of more just like it was just, one of those fights. He's a Mexican fighter, tough dude, came forward. I'm about the same way. So we were just going at it, man. And then all 4 rounds, really. All 4 rounds, we both had to go. We were both sitting side by side after the fight getting stitches together. So that was pretty cool. Good guy, though.
I think what a lot of people don't realize, maybe, is that when you see fights, whether it's boxing and nowadays more so MMA, at the end of the day, everyone's, I don't want to say best friends, because, but they are, it is a fairly tight community like that.
Yeah.
You fight, you go after each other inside the ring, inside the octagon, but at the end of the day, like, everyone's trying to go home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Talk about that sense of, from your point of view, especially as someone in it, that sense of camaraderie amongst fighters and such.
Well, it's like you learn a lot about a man when you're in there with him, right? Like, how far he's willing to go, especially someone that's game that, comes forward and it's like, that has no quit in them, right? They're in the sport for a reason, it's you're by yourself in there. So it's like, you just earn each other's respect, and afterwards, before it's, it can be bad blood, whatever, right? Depends on your style. But, afterwards, shake hands and it's, man, you go buy each other food right after, like, hey, man, we're cool, so, it's just, I can't really explain it, right? It's one of those things where you just know, right?
Right. But I find it interesting because a lot of people see what they see usually on TV, pay-per-views, like maybe what they see if they go to an event, right? They usually don't see inside the locker rooms, inside after. That's the one thing. The few times I got to cover MMA stories, everyone was telling me how tight knit the community is. I did kickboxing for a year, and I learned real quick how tight that entire scene is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one of the coolest things. I think it's something that I think if people need to realize, the competition doesn't always flow outside of the ring like that. Right. That sense of fighting and stuff like that. The big question is, what's like for you starting 1-0?
Man, it's good, man. I felt like it was more so to get my feet wet. I expect a lot out of myself. I know he was a game opponent. I just want to keep it going, man. I strive for that. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm closer to the finish line, than where I started. So, just getting better day by day. It's a good feeling, but I don't like the things. The job ain't done yet. Is what I'm trying to say.
It'd be starting 0-1 though, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, let me ask you this: you mentioned you don't feel like you are where you want to be at. If I may ask, what do you feel is the strength of your game right now compared to what do you feel or your opportunities you can work on?
Excuse me?
What do you feel is the strength of your game right now compared to your opportunities that you want to kind of continue to build upon?
My strengths.
From your point of view, actually, from your opinion.
My strengths is just the will. Just constantly being consistent. Showing up every day. Showing up and just laying a brick a day. Getting every day, getting a step closer to where I need to be and better than I was yesterday. And I feel like once you get in that mode and kind of just you kind of forget about everything else. Next thing you know, you'll be there instead of stressing out in the future or worried about the past. So.
Take me through the journey, because it is quite the journey getting to that first pro fight, let alone get into pro in general. Take me through how it all began. You said you're from Oakland originally, right?
No, I was born in Oakland.
Born in Oakland,
yeah. But I'm from Brentwood.
Okay.
I lived out here since I was about 7 years old.
Okay.
We moved out here from Richmond. Family's from Richmond, also Brandy area.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a Brentwood local.
Okay.
Yeah.
So take me through what got you into. Because here's the thing: a lot of sports we cover normally here is a lot of traditional, like I said, traditional stick and ball sports, baseball, football, soccer, stuff like that. Combat sports are very different.
Yeah, they are.
Compared, you don't have seasons. There's no travel club. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's a lifestyle more. It's a lifestyle that features a sport compared to a sport that features lifestyle, like the other sports. That makes sense to you, right? What got you into all this?
Oh man, we're gonna be here all day if that's the case. But
I'm hourly, brother. Trust me.
Right on. No, to keep it simple, man. I just kind of grew up. A lot of family events. We watch fighting, boxing, right? And it's in the Harmonial Marquez era and stuff like that. Watching that, and I'd see how excited the men in my family got for that, and I just always seen that, and that's somebody that I looked at and wanted to be like. Then growing up in the backyard, cousins, every weekend we throw on the gloves and. That just kind of, built a little what's the word for a little grit in me.
Okay.
And then as I got a certain age, I went to actually I was wrestling and went to CYC in Concord. I seen they had a boxing program, and I was like, I made the point that's where I wanted to be. And it's a lot. It's a lot like life, what you put in is what you get, man. Every time I go there, it's like an oasis. I can sit there and, get everything I need out, and forget about everything else in the outside world. So it's, it's ever since then, man, I just never looked back. Just fell in love with the sport.
So you just pretty much really kind of grew into it from the grassroots, so to say, with family, with the, boxing 10 years ago was super huge. It's a little bit, it's I feel like MMA is trying to keep it in the shadow now, but but it's interesting whenever you have those big fights. It's always so much fun to watch. When you made that decision, what was your family's reaction when you made that decision to kind of go into? How old were you when you went to CYC and kind of made that jump?
CYC, I was 14 years old.
Okay, so you pretty much it started when you were younger, but officially, quote unquote.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yep.
What was that first fight for you? Like when you were you 14 first fight?
No, I was about 16. I trained for a couple years.
Okay.
Once I got things right. Coach was very stern, very stand up guy, but he was made sure the fighters were ready. Right. So yeah, man, that was I fought in Reno for my first fight, stopped the guy, but oh man, it was definitely, man, like anything else, you jump in there, you got a crowd of people, and your first fight, you thinking all these thoughts in your head, but once that bell rings, you're good, man.
Reno for the first fight. Let's talk about that one. Not just the local scene, but you ready? Like your first fight, you're traveling, 2 years training, 2 years sparring, 2 years training. When you got the approval for that first fight, what was that like? I mean, how were you like? Were you kind of hoping to get in right away? Were you like, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was quite a while back, so I could can't really get back on my emotions on it, but yeah, man, it was exciting. I mean, I traveled traveling to Reno, that was enough. That was cool. The elevation was kind of like, oh man, in the back of your head, worried about that, but. Other than that, man, I was excited. I was ready for it, hungry. I've always been hungry. I always liked that. I always liked the contact of it. That's just always been kind of my thing.